Welcome back, everybody, and we are going to learn distortion tools in Photoshop. I will be doing two segments on this one. One will be a little bit lengthy because there's a lot to do, but let's get back to what I showed you. Under Edit, there is more than just the puppet warp that I showed you already, but there's also under Transform, you have three or four. We know what Scale and Rotate is. We can do that even without going here. But we have Skew, Distort, Perspective, and Warp. Skew is by putting an italicize, like when you italicize something on your type. That's what it is. You're sliding things diagonally left or diagonally right, and you of course have control of that. But let's go to Distort. Distort is very simple. You click on it, and you'll notice you have your box around here. You're able to take one corner and actually just move it, and it works out really well. And once when you have something done, I can grab another one of these and I can pop it up here also. So there's all kinds of things and possibilities here, but everything works on that two planes, right? And that one, it's two-dimensional. So it works well. I truly use it a bunch of times too, especially if you want, say you take a photograph and it's not in perfect perspective, and we'll talk about that next, but this will help you out. It kind of gives you an eye on for it too. Once you like it, up top in the top right hand side, you either have your check mark and say okay, or you can clear it all and go back to normal. So that's how that works. Also, if you want to use the actual sides, you can notice that it moves two of these. So if I come down here, I grab the middle, the actual whole line goes up, this whole length, and extends these two lines rather than it manipulating a quarter and manipulating these in between these 2 points here. So there's the first one right there. Now the second one is, I'm going to come down here again, I'm going to go there, and they don't have shortcut keys, which kind of stinks, but it's no problem. We're going to go with perspective. It is exactly what it says it is. It puts things in perspective. Again, just looks like what we did with Distort, but when I grab one of the corners, it pulls in the direction I pull it, it's going to pull the opposite corner in. Notice it's in perspective. This could be a 1 or 2 point perspective, but it's going to have a vanishing point, and this one is down here. Okay, let's put that back up here, and then also we can do it where it is, and I pull it towards the middle, and notice I can really make it look tall. So this is what we call a worm's eye perspective. So I'm like really small, looking up at it. Got to remember when you're a child, and you probably don't, but children have a different perspective than adults do. They're always looking up at things, and that's one of these perspectives. Let's do Control Z. And also with the other one, same thing again. I can bring it down here, and I can pull these in together. And notice it looks like we're looking more on top of it, and we look very tall looking down, called the bird's eye perspective. These are terminologies that you'll hear in photography, but it's just a different view of something. We're so standard with standing up and looking at things at our level. This is a little higher up or a little lower, but that's how perspective does go, okay? Control Z that one more time. If you grab a side here, notice it will skew it left and right. And this is almost kind of like a shear. Same thing. And you can actually use this instead of the shear also. So it works out well, and you don't have to use that, but just again, these are how we use perspective. Last but not least, we're coming over here again, edit, come down to transform. We're going to go to warp. You're going to find out there's this grid, and it's like a kind of a grid that you have on your camera, and it is the rules of the thirds. But you're going to notice there's a lot more points on some of the sides. Now we have our quarter normally, but those aren't actually points. Those are actually handles. You should be used to this with the pen tool. These are able to grab and pull out, and it works really, really well. And I'm able to round something out if I need to. So if I want to round this out, bring it up a little bit more. Let's bring this down, Control minus. I am able to take this and start manipulating how this is working. And it's looking pretty good so far. And I like this. And I can get very specific with how I round things out. Notice how it's not touching anything down here. And you can actually see how the grid moves really well. I can still even move the anchor point and pull it out even more. But you're going to notice that my actual handles didn't move. Like in a pen tool, they would move all together. They're not. You're going to have to readjust that over and over again. It's not too bad. It works out really well. And again, it gives you a lot of, I like how precise it can be. okay? And that's how one of those does. So let's go cancel that out. We're going to come back here and go back into um, warp one more time to show you some other things. Control plus. Okay, so now you're going to notice that we have points right here also. You're able to grab this grid, and that's why the grid's here. I could take it, and notice I can move that point. And it's skewing more things, and I can even pull this one out also. And it looks really, really kind of neat, and I can actually bring these in. And this is a movable and a pliable grid. So, I mean, I can move the actual piece itself. Notice my handle moves when I move that line. Okay, this point moves. I like using the points. I think they work a little bit better because if you move the line, notice the handle moves. So it all depends on what you want to do, but notice how I've taken this. I've actually elongated it, and I've actually scrunched it up way up top. And you can see that, and that's how it works. And I can, if I want to push even more, come up here more, push those lines, or I can actually push the points. Let's just round it out a little bit because it looks a little too flat, but notice how I elongated that too. And it works out really, really well. And that's what Warp Tool is. So again, if you like it, check mark. If you don't, it resets really well, works out well. Again, these are all here under Edit, under Transform. I wish I can give you a shortcut key, but I can't. We went through we talked about skew. It's really simple. I'll do it right now. You have a skew, grab a side. It tells you to go left and right, up and down, kind of like we talked about in perspective. It's that simple. But that's where you find these. So this is what we're going to use, and these are going to be some of the tools we're going to use in our next project. We're going to start distorting things, kind of manipulate reality, and that's what we're going to do. I will present the project on Tuesday because we have Monday off, but I'm going to have you guys work on these tools on Friday. But again, transform, here they all are right here. Of course, here's your rotate, you know these things, your horizontal and vertical flip. Transform is where a lot of things happen, okay? Everyone have a wonderful day, and I hope you're enjoying this sun.